What's up guys, JV2017 here, and today I'm going to share everything you need to know about trapping and caging creatures in the Wasteland Workshop DLC. Obviously, this is one of the most important new features introduced in this DLC, so we're going to walk through the process step by step to see how everything works. Fortunately, I've had hours upon hours of testing this and seeing what works and what doesn't work, so I'm sharing all of my findings here in this video. But if you have any more questions, don't hesitate to put them in the comment section below. Starting off with the basics, no matter what kind of creature you're capturing, you'll need to build the cage and power it. I've got kind of an arena set up, but you really don't need an arena. You can just place the cage down. So cages can be found on the far right of the workshop menu, very far right, and they also come in 3 different sizes depending on the creature. Right now in this video, we're going to show a DEATHCLAW cage, which is a large cage. And our requirements are on the left, some very common ones like steel, copper, and gear, but also yaoguai meat. Each cage has a unique requirement that, you'll probably need to find out in the world that makes sense for that creature. So DEATHCLAW probably hunt yaoguai, and you kind of move up the food chain with each different creature. Next, you'll need to power your cage, and it does not matter which generator you use. I repeat, the fusion generator is not going to be quicker or more effective than the smallest generator available. Also, you can use one generator, even the smallest generator, to power multiple cages at once. So general rule of thumb is when you're powering cages, you just need it to be connected to some power source. Personally, I recommend that you use a separate power source from anything else, not connected to anything else, because you need to be able to turn it on and off in order to operate the cage. And the way this works is that you have to have a power source connected to a cage in order for it to actively catch a creature. It has to be connected to live power, some kind of power source. Some people like to connect their generator and cage to some kind of switch so they can throw it from a remote location and unleash whatever monster they have captured. You can do that, but I found it personally a lot easier to just set the generator somewhere close by, go up and click on it to turn it on and off in order to release my monsters. If you're ever having problems with creatures not appearing in your cages, something that I did that usually helped me was moving my generator closer to my cage. For whatever reason, that seemed to solve a lot of my problems. Once you're done placing your cage and generator, now you'll need to pass the time in order for a creature to spawn inside of your cage. And so you can do this via 2 methods. First off, you can sleep the time away, and this is very simple. You just need a bed kind of nearby, but I wouldn't put it too close to the cage. I was putting my bed right next to the cage, and for some reason that was messing up with the spawning. So I would put it a little bit further away from your cage. If you decide on the sleeping method, which I think is the easiest, it may take anywhere from 2 hours to 96 hours, 4 full 24-hour cycle days before some kind of creature appears. It's really so random and unpredictable that it doesn't even matter what kind of creature you're capturing. If it's a small creature, it may take longer than some of the bigger creatures. And so that has nothing to do with how long it is. It seems very random and arbitrary. Again, I've had a 2-hour sleep and bam, there's a DEATHCLAW in there. Sometimes it's taken 4 days. So be patient. And honestly, my best, advice here is to just go ahead and do a 24-hour cycle. It may happen in 2 hours, but you're not losing that much time. It's a lot more frustrating to have to keep sleeping and sleeping and sleeping. Just do one 24-hour cycle. And if that doesn't work, keep going until it appears. The second method of passing the time is fast traveling. You can fast travel out of the settlement and come back, and I think that just generally takes longer, but I haven't found it to be any more reliable or any less reliable. So really up to you. I think in terms of time, definitely sleeping is a lot quicker. Backing up for just a second here, important thing to note, once you've caught a creature, you can quick save right before you open it, and if you don't like whatever creature comes out of that cage, then you can have another chance at a reroll of a different version of that creature. So, for example, if I let this DEATHCLAW loose and I don't like its version, I can load that quick save right back again and get another version of that DEATHCLAW, and this is really important to remember because you could get a chameleon DEATHCLAW or you could just get a normal DEATHCLAW, and the awareness perk also will help you with that, determining what level your creature is, what kind of resistances it has, and all of that. Just to show this exact thing in action, I made that quick save and I'm reloading it right here after looking at that DEATHCLAW. Again, maybe I didn't like it. Maybe I didn't like another random creature. It doesn't have to be just a DEATHCLAW. So again, I hop down, click on the generator. That's how you're going to open the door, and there's a chameleon DEATHCLAW. So this is an effective thing if you're going for a certain kind of creature. Remember that you can quick save before you open the doors. Next up, we're looking at the Beta Wave Emitter, which is also found under the Cages category of the Wasteland Workshop menu at the very back with Miscellaneous. And so this has some interesting material requirements, but most importantly, it requires Animal Friend rank 1 and Wasteland Whisperer rank 1. And the purpose of the beta wave emitter is to make any creature that comes out of a cage nearby, it has to be reasonably close, it makes them completely docile. They will not attack you, they will be almost friendly. Not like you could talk to them, but they won't attack you. The few exceptions are super mutants, gunners, and raiders. Even if you use the emitter, they will still attack you on sight. Unfortunately, guys, there's not much you can really do if you don't have the beta wave emitter, which makes those perks almost mandatory for this DLC, for you to fully experience what it has to offer. In order to kind of set up arena fights, which is something I'm going to show you guys in a few days here, you really do need this item, so it kind of requires those two perks. I also learned a very important lesson here. I was wondering why the beta wave emitter was not working. Clearly I attached it to the cage. You know, what gives here? What's the problem? Well, if you attach the emitter to the cage, which is also attached to some kind of power source, then once you turn off that power source, it's going to turn off the beta wave emitter. So don't make the same mistake as I just made. Instead, the good thing to do is make a separate generator for your beta wave emitter and make sure it's not attached to the cage either. I mean, I guess it could still be attached to the cage, but it doesn't need to be. All this emitter needs to do is be kind of near the cage in order to have the same effect. Also, there isn't any sequential order to place this emitter, meaning you don't have to place it out here and have it working before you capture a creature. I clearly got rid of it and then placed it back down in order to set it up properly, and it's still going to work. So you don't have to worry about that if you're having issues. The emitter just has to be on before you open the door. Here, I just turned off the generator, releasing the Deathclaw, and normally you'd see the red blip on the compass on the bottom of the screen. You don't, because it is now docile and it will not attack you. Once you've pacified a creature and they're not trying to kill you, there are a few rules to keep in mind. First off is that once you've pacified a creature, it will add to your defense in some form or fashion. So the Deathclaw added to my defense before. Earlier in the video, you can go back and check, I had 0 defense. Now I have 10 defense. So it does add to my defense, which is pretty cool, but you can't tell your creatures to stay in one spot and kind of keep guard. They will wander around as they want, but they will stay in the settlement. If you have a large settlement, they could be in some really random corner, but they are going to still be there. If you decide to remove the emitter that you placed down in order to make this creature docile in the first place, it will come back and attack you. This will happen, so be careful if you're trying to move stuff around. You will need to deal with that situation. Additionally, you will have to be worried about new attackers, because depending on whichever creature you catch, you will be attacked by that specific creature. So I, captured a Deathclaw, and I woke up trying to test some more things, and bam, there were a ton of Deathclaws coming at me. That's something you do have to worry about. Let's say you've just caught a creature with the beta wave emitter and you want to catch another one. You want to use the same cage. You don't want to have to build more cages because that's, terribly inefficient, not very practical, and on and on. So what you can do is keep reusing the same cage by repairing it. And the way you do that is after, you've used that cage, you use the bait inside. The bait is going to be gone. You're not actually going to see it. So the way you can repair it is by hopping into workshop mode and just highlighting it, and it'll tell you what you need to repair it. So clearly with the Deathclaw cage, I need some of the same components, but also Yaogwai meat, because that was the original bait. So you have to rebait/repair the cage in order to use it again, and it'll work the same way. But don't forget to turn the generator on again. That's something I did over and over while testing. I, rebaited the cage, but did not turn the generator on again. Make sure that power source is on and connected, or it won't capture your creature again. Let's run through another scenario and say you want to capture 2 creatures in the same area, and they're different creatures, and you want to use the same power source. You just have to place it down, connect it to the same power source, just like that. Make sure the generator's on, and it will work. As I mentioned earlier, it doesn't matter the size of the creature, cages, what kind of creatures they are, they just need a power source, and if you decide to unleash them in the same cage like I'm just doing, they will be hostile. They will attack each other on sight, so keep that in mind. If you're trying to use the same beta wave emitter, to be efficient, you don't want to have multiple ones, make sure these creatures are separated. Even if you're using this emitter, they will still attack each other. They'll be docile to you, but they will attack each other on sight. I just want to show you guys one more thing before we end the video. This was something I'm testing to make sure that the generator didn't matter or the amount of cages did not matter. So one small generator, I replaced my large one, connect this one to the Deathclaw cage, the large cage, and also to the small mutant hound cage. And then I decided to add another medium cage for a feral ghoul. All of these again are attached to the same small generator, and they will all work. And once I was testing this, it was interesting to see what filled up first. Interestingly enough, the large Deathclaw cage is the one that filled first, and it was just after the first sleep cycle, and then the other ones took days and days and days. The small mutant hound cage cage took the longest. So again, this is re-illustrating the fact that it doesn't matter, the size of the cage or the power of the generator, and you just need some power and you just need to wait. Anyways, guys, this took a lot of testing and trial and error, but I want to hear from you guys. Was this helpful to you? And also, what are you going to do with cages? What is your first thing you're going to do? Are you going to try to set up some kind of arena? Are you going to breed some DEATHCLAWS to walk around and defend your settlement? Let me know what you're going to do with cages in the comment section below. Alright guys, today I shared everything you need to know about trapping and caging creatures in Fallout 4. And next time we will cover more Fallout on my channel, so stay tuned for Fallout 4 tips and tricks videos. If you learned something new, remember to hit that like button, I would really appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe for more Wasteland Workshop coverage, survival mode coverage, and general tips and tricks videos. Talk to you guys next time. Peace.